is Konosuke Takeshita, wrestling's next breakout star. Hello, welcome to the WrestleTalk Podcast review of SmackDown and Rampage. I am Pete and I'm joined by your new Jam That Champion. It's Tempest.
I did it, Pete.
You did it!
I did it!
Yeah!
I didn't think I was gonna do it.
Isn't it crazy that originally, when LIW formed, we were like, hey, I'm gonna go for the Jam That Championship, you can go for the Quizzlemania Championship, because, you know, you couldn't really go for the Jam That Championship because you weren't here. But now you've come over, and you've immediately won the Jam That Championship!
So you know what this means, Pete?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta win.
I gotta win the
Quizzlemania Championship.
That'll never happen.
I'll train you. We'll do like classic Rocky style vignettes of you training for Quizzlemania.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be great.
That sounds delightful. Make sure to get in your thoughts about SmackDown Rampage. Get your thoughts in at WrestleTalk.com/support, and we'll be sure to
showed up.
We'll be sure to read out all your thoughts that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air. But first, we are going to talk about Rampage. Specifically, we're going to talk about this opening match that we had of Eddie Kingston versus Konosuke Takeshita. I have fallen in love with Takeshita ever since he's been on an AEW screen.
Yep.
The match he had against Jay Lethal, the match he had against Hangman, this match against Eddie Kingston when he was in the Royal Rampage. All those times he's been on TV, I don't watch Dark Elevation. I know he's had a couple matches there. Not counting that.
He wins those ones.
He does win those ones. But this little opener right here just got announced of Eddie Kingston versus Takeshita, and I was like, well, that's going to be awesome. And already, Takeshita's had like a handful of matches on TV, and already I'm like, well, this guy's great, obviously. Yep. I've seen him enough times to know this is going to be a great match. And wouldn't you know it, it was a great match.
It was so great, wasn't it?
I
loved this match. And I love how they put together matches with a guy like Takeshita in general. Well, Takeshita is a perfect example of how to get a guy over in defeat. And earlier this year, we looked at someone like Wheeler Yuta as like, he had a great star-making performance in one match where he lost. That's different than when you take a guy, and Takeshita's not like, he's not now in the Blackpool Combat Club. There's no change in direction for him that would make you think, well, now he's going to go on a run and win all these matches. No, he's just the guy that's getting beat, but he's the up-and-coming young star that none of the veterans are quite prepared for. So it's a little bit more effort needed to beat him. And literally just having veteran wrestlers need to put in effort to beat a young guy shows that the young guy belongs.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so easy.
And I love that through the progression of Takeshita's TV matches, it's now getting harder and harder for these people to pin him. Even though the quality or, you know, the perceived like ranking of those guys has fluctuated, it's now getting harder and harder for them to just discount this guy. He's getting in more and more offense every match. Like this match with Kingston, he went back and forth so many times. Like there were times where Takeshita could have won this match. Like it was really, really close. Went back and forth. There were so many near falls towards the end. It might have got maybe a little no-selly for me at the end, but, you know, that's very minor criticism because it was just so much fun back and forth. There was, like, awesome, like, Blue Thunder Bomb that he did spot was awesome. Loads of, like, back fist, loads of dodging, like, running high knees, like, all sorts of stuff going on in this match. And it just culminated to a point where Kingston just hit him with two of his spinning back fists. And, man, like, and the commentators were putting over that Kingston only, like, collapsed onto Takeshita.
Right.
And so, like, if he didn't collapse onto Takeshita, how fortunate for Kingston that he collapsed onto him, because if he didn't, he might not have got a pinfall victory there. Like, he wouldn't have been able to even get over to Takeshita to be able to get the pin. Like, it was... They did a really good job of putting over Takeshita, and I think it is insane that he hasn't won a TV match yet in AEW, and we're already like, this guy's amazing. And I think it just goes to show that you can really get someone over by making them look good in defeat. Because we mention that phrase all the time of looking good in defeat, but this is what it actually looks like. This is them doing it right. I think it's yielding such great results.
I think so too, but I will ask, what do you think the direction for this guy ends up being? Because I think he would make a great champion in like Ring of Honor or something like that. Like maybe not right now because they seem to have the card for Death Before Dishonor more or less kind of booked. But if he was your ROH TV champion, or if he was your ROH Pure champion, or sod it, have him be the one to beat Jonathan Gresham and become the next ROH World Champion. He's so good that you could really maybe not build a whole promotion around him, that might be a stretch, but he would be the perfect kind of guy to be an attraction on one of those shows where if Takeshita's on the card, you're going to get a 4.5-star match and he's going to be given time and he's going to have an awesome performance. And that's really what you want out of a Ring of Honor champion, because that was how the Ring of Honor champion was portrayed for like 15 years. Until they stopped portraying them that way, until Matt Taven won the title and stuff like that. Not to just pick on Matt Taven, but I really think...
WrestleTalk Podcast friend, Matt Taven, yeah.
Yes. I just think they could do so much with this guy. And it could be that. I want to see him face Pac for the All-Atlantic Championship. I think that would be fantastic. I want to see him fight for the TNT Championship, maybe win the TNT Championship. What do you think?
I don't think he should be winning gold now, but I think they can build a fantastic story building to a title win. Absolutely. I think that there's so many legs in this story. There's so much room for growth. There's so much legs in this story. What's the right phrase? There's so many possibilities for this guy that I think he's someone that's so organically over. Someone who's so easy to like and so easy to root for.
He's so likable.
So likable that you just need to stick him in a ring and people understand what he's going for. You build that into an organic underdog babyface story of him just chasing for a title and, being beaten back every so often. And you have him lose high-profile matches like he's been doing, just losing high-profile matches. And then you insert him into a story where you have a heel champion who, cuts him off and then goes that little bit too far. He doesn't just beat him.
He disrespects him.
And he disrespects him. And then Takeshita's like, I'm not going to take that line down. And then he works his way back, and then he beats him for the title. That, I think, is the best organic way to get him over and have him win a title.
I really like that, because I really like this guy.
Yeah.
I can't stress enough that you say, you see what he's about in the ring. You got to follow this guy on Twitter to really get a sense of, he's so fun. He's the guy that keeps going to American fast food restaurants and everything. And I love him. He is the wholesome, most excellent, respectful young baby face. And if you have a moment that pushes him over the edge, and I don't need him to turn heel and be violent, but just be defiant, be adamant that you're not going to be disrespected. It'll give him that next layer to his character. And once you have that, I think you can just be off and running, really.
Yeah, I think so as well. At Take Soup.
Yes.
Go follow him. He's great.
I love him. Great follow.
So I think not just... Well, the title of this stream is Takeshita AEW's next breakout star, but that's because I have a character limit. What I really wanted to title this stream was, is Takeshita wrestling's next breakout star? Because I think, it is wrestling's next breakout star. If he is portrayed in the way that we think he's capable of, I think he has the potential to be the next breakout guy. In the same way that I thought that Hook was the next breakout guy, which... I think he has gone off the boil.
Yeah.
They haven't really done that much with Hook since.
I would have made such an essay about how they were going to put the world title on Hook. I was going to do it. But...
he's not been ruined by any means. He's just not as hot as he once was. And he's still very good at what he does. It's just there's not the organic following and need for him to do something that there was before. Whereas I think they have something here with Takeshita in a similar vein, where fans really want to get behind this guy every time he appears. And I really think they should capitalize on that and push this guy into the stratosphere, because that will create wrestling's next breakout star in the same way that Wheeler Yuta is now mega over anywhere he goes, because he had a really organic story with an amazing payoff and a star-making performance.
That really is the key to all of this, is it needs to be organic.
Yes.
Because we've seen, even if they choose the right guy, it feels a little bit forced sometimes when the babyface just gets pushed. Even if the people like him, there's a different vibe to it when the people decide first and then the company goes, okay,
all right,
let's push that one. And I do think we kind of missed, and we didn't miss the boat on Hook. That sounds way too harsh, and that's not what I mean. But if you were going to really push this guy hard right out the gate and really capitalize on an organic reaction, I think we have kind of missed that for Hook.
Yeah.
And I think Takeshita's the next one to come along where there's kind of just this groundswell of organic support behind him. And I don't know if he's going to be wrestling's next breakout star, because that's a high bar to try and clear. But I think he can be AEW's next breakout star. If you look at guys that could just be given the TNT title next and have an awesome open challenge type run and have awesome matches on TV every single week, I think he is as perfect a candidate for that as they have right now.
I absolutely agree. I cannot wait to see this guy more. I think he's fantastic every time he steps in the ring. And I mean, and obviously, like we mentioned, this was the opener of Rampage with Eddie Kingston. And on the flip side, let's just talk about Kingston for a little second, because obviously he got the big win here over Takeshita, which was a big win, weirdly, even though Takeshita hasn't won on TV yet. It still feels like a big win, because that's what happens when you make people look good in defeat. It just works.
Yeah.
And then this is setting up Kingston versus Jericho, which is going to happen at Fyter Fest in a couple of weeks, on week 2 of that. And it is going to be Kingston versus Jericho with JAS suspended in a shark cage in a barbed wire death match.
That's a lot of nonsense.
It's a lot of things happening. Yeah. It's very, you know what it is? Sports entertainment. That's what that is.
Well, so, I mean, I guess
it's a bit of a mixture.
A little bit.
But
this is
the shark cage I can't get past.
Yeah. When was the last time we saw a good use of a shark cage?
Oh,
it was like
good use?
Yeah. And I don't know if I would have as big a problem with the shark cage if they didn't have like the same spot in every single one, where it's just guy in shark cage drops chain or brass knucks or pipe or whatever down to their guy.
Oh, it's much better when they break out of it and then immediately get big booted, right?
Yes, that's much better. But regardless, like, I just want this to be it. I don't want this story to go all the way to All Out or whatever their next big blow-off show is going to be. I think we've kind of run our course here with Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, because, God, they've been doing this since, like, December.
Yeah.
And it is now July.
Yeah.
And I'm just it's run its course, I think. And honestly, if they just had Eddie Kingston, like, beat Jericho 6 ways from Sunday, split him open, make him bleed all over the mat at Blood and Guts, and then just beat him, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I don't think you needed to do the Cesaro. God damn it. Claudio.
Yep.
You don't think you needed to do the Claudio steals the win finish from Eddie just to prolong this. I think you could have done Blood and Guts like a month later, had this month between Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts to do your Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, your stupid Real Americans match that they just have to get out of the way for the people that want to see it, I guess. But do those matches in between that and not after, because I really do think Blood and Guts should be the blow-off of this sort of thing.
I agree.
I don't want to see them come back after Blood and Guts.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like I was already, you know, a little bit checked out of this feud as is. I'm really hoping, because what I can see happening, which I really hope they don't, is they will have some sort of interference from JAS despite being in the shark cage, which will lead to either Jericho getting the wing or Kingston, like, not being able to put Jericho away like he wants or whatever. And then they have another match at All Out, which will be the actual decider, which I really don't want him to do.
Right. And I know we had this conversation at some point this year where we talked about how AEW storylines, the top ones, seem to be told very concisely. Like the Punk and MJF story had a very clear starts the day or the week after Full Gear, ends at Revolution. That is a start and an end. The Hangman Page storyline, again, very concisely told. But we'd said that, like, the mid-tier and lower tier AEW rivalries just kind of feel like they go on forever. Like the Matt Hardy, Orange Cassidy bit. Honestly, the whole Best Friends and Undisputed Elite thing went on a little too long. The Anna Jay and Ty Conti versus Penelope Ford and the Bunny went on seemingly forever. And I was willing to let that slide when it's the lower ones that just kind of like fill out Rampage and you need another match to get thrown in here. I'm not emotionally invested in it, so I'm not super bent out of shape. But this is a major rivalry.
Yeah.
And I feel like when the major rivalry, the focus of the show starts being drawn out, that's where I do start to lose interest in the show. And that's where I do have a problem with it. So I would like for this to be done before it gets to this point.
Yes, I totally agree. Shall we see what you guys think? Let's get into some of your Ultra Chats. Make sure to send those in at WrestleTalk.com/support. Going to read out all the ones that are $5 and up by the time the show goes off the air on the topic of Konosuke Takeshita. IV09M said, what is Takeshita's contract status? Is he all elite? Also, what do you guys think about Hook's current direction or lack thereof? Hey, we spoke about that. Thank you very much for all the great content. Hashtag jam that jam. Hashtag sack Vince.
Amen. Takeshita is a DDT talent on, I feel like excursion is the wrong word because it's like that, I feel like that term has kind of been coined by New Japan at this point.
Yeah, almost a little bit, right?
You know, it's like, oh, a young lion is going on excursion. And that's basically exactly what this is. Like, he's a young guy in DDT who's in America on an excursion. So, yeah, he's one of those guys where you loan him to another promotion, and I want to see more of that in general.
He's on loan.
Yeah, he's on loan from DDT.
Yeah, good for him. Nate S. said, Takeshita is what Jungle Boy was 2 years ago. That match was incredible. If there's a TV match of the year category, this should definitely be in the running. Eddie, of course, is the absolute best. He should be challenging for the title soon.
I feel like I mildly agree with everything there. That being said, there have been some excellent TV matches.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we had Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. This was a TV match. Wheeler Yuta and John Moxley was a TV match. It might be my match of the year, honestly.
Right.
It's up there, if not. But, like,
it's perfect.
TV wrestling's a very high bar at this point. As far as him being Jungle Boy, I see the same sort of... I know what he's saying. You know, he's got that, you know, boyish charm about him, just that good-natured baby face about him, but I think he's a better wrestler than Jungle Boy was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I don't think that's like controversial or a dig at Jungle Boy. It's just, they're young, they're allowed to be a little green.
Yeah, and hey, Jungle, it's green.
Haha.
Anywho, also Takeshita's quite young, isn't he? I think he's like 26.
26, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Young roster.
He is a good wrestler. On the subject of, should we do? You know what? Let's just do this other one first. We'll come back to Charles Berg. We'll do your one later after we've reviewed SmackDown. Ristofer said, hey, lovely lads. Last night's Rampage was awesome. Thanks for watching SmackDown so I don't have to. Less than 15 minutes of wrestling on a 2-hour show is insane to me. How can people be okay with spending money to see that live?
What?
Yeah.
I watched this show on Fast Forward, and I pay like half attention to SmackDown half the time now.
I know.
There's less than 15 minutes out of 120 on a wrestling show.
You want to know something funny as well? When I was looking for news stories this morning, I went on to Fightful Select on Patreon, and you know they always put up here's tonight's plans for this show. Tonight's plan was they had Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus in the main event. And someone in the comments, I just happened to scroll past it and see it, say, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus in the main event. Hopefully that means we get a 20-minute banger.
Oh.
Ugh.
I hope you weren't watching that show.
God. Yep.
But, okay, no, I'm sorry. If there's only one person, if that's the one person out there in the world that wanted to see Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, that one person got screwed.
Yeah, they did.
And you know what? I feel bad for you, one person. I feel real bad for you, one Fightful Select subscriber.
Yeah.
WWE screwed you out of your time.
Yeah. Should we talk about SmackDown? No. Talk about Rampage first. I forgot what the order of this show. Talk about the rest of Rampage first.
Talk about SmackDown at all.
We'll do the rest of your Ultra Chats later. Let's talk about the rest of Rampage first.
Yeah.
So keep sending those in at WrestleTalk.com/support. We had a promo after that opener of Kingston and Takeshita. We had a promo from Athena and Chris Statlander, which I thought was pretty good.
Good promo.
The TBS title. Quite
I like these two a lot together.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah. Upon Athena coming into the company, I wouldn't have guessed, like, oh yeah, put it with Chris Statlander. But
No,
it's
not at all.
working.
Yeah.
They have like a really unique but very good chemistry bouncing off of each other. And I thought they did a really good job of just being like, yeah, Jade, you're undefeated, but who you been beating? You haven't beat us. We're waiting for a shot. Chris Statlander saying, I've been here since the beginning, and I've helped build this women's promotion, and I would like my shot. And Athena saying, I've been world champion almost everywhere I've been, and I'm great, and step up. And I'm really excited to see both of these matches. I don't know if either of them will beat her, but I wouldn't be upset at either of them.
Do you think it will be a triple threat at All Out?
I don't hate it.
No.
I think that's a fun idea.
I think that's a really fun idea because I think both Athena and Statlander are good contenders to beat Jade for the title, and putting them both into a match with her, I think, will make people think, like, for probably one of the first times, will make people go like, "Ooh, maybe Jade could lose in this match."
Yeah.
So I think that would lead to some strong intrigue heading into the match.
I agree.
We got a Hook video package. And then we got the Gates of Agony versus Jonathan Gresham and Lee Moriarty.
I haven't decided if I like this name or not.
What, Gates of Agony?
The Gates of Agony. It does feel a little bit wrestling name generator-esque.
It does. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but I also do think that they looked at the Authors of Pain and went, how can we get close to that? And Authors of Pain is just better?
Yeah, it is. Gates of Agony. What I wrote down a different thing at first. I thought they were called something different. It wasn't Gates of Agony. It was something else. It's Gates of Anarchy. That's what I wrote down. And then I realized it was Agony. And I was like,
But like they're gates? At least they're authors. That makes sense.
They're the things that stop you from agony.
See, I think of like two other teams. I think of the Authors of Pain and I think of the Gorillas of Destiny, both of which are better names than this.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Regardless, I think they're a pretty good team.
Yeah. I like Khan a lot. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he really shined in this match, I thought. So the whole point of this thing was to set up a Jonathan Gresham heel turn. He was to align with Tully Blanchard. And that was the whole design of this match. So they had the promo last week where they shook hands. Commentators putting over, oh, maybe that handshake was a bit more than we realized. I thought there was a very, very good moment in this match because I knew that the heel turn was coming before I watched this match because I'd seen stuff before the show. So I was watching it with a different perspective to be like, how are they going to tease this thing that's coming? Right. There's one moment where Lee Moriarty goes to tag Gresham, and Gresham gets distracted by Tully Blanchard, who's like mouthing off into side. So he goes over on the apron to like start mouthing off back to Tully Blanchard and misses the tag from Moriarty. And I'm like, that's really clever because you could totally play that off as, oh, we just got distracted by Tully Blanchard. But actually, in reality, he's about to turn heel, and he purposefully missed the tag from him. And I was like, that's really clever. And then later on, Moriarty finally manages to get the tag on Gresham, and he takes his hand away at the last second and openly turns heel, walks off the steps, leaves him by himself, hugs Tully Blanchard, officially joins him, and Gates of Agony just put away Moriarty.
I liked all of this. You know, like I was excited to see Jonathan Gresham wrestle his TV debut, but if this is going, I would also take character progression for Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah.
Character progression for Jonathan Gresham. Bars. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think they really needed to kind of make up for lost time because they had his match against Dalton Castle in Battle for the Belts and then really couldn't do anything with him afterwards because he was hurt. So really, you got to kind of speed this up a little bit. And if he's going to be like the wrestling leader of a faction with Tully Blanchard as the manager, these two guys, Toa Leona and Khan as the tag team, and Brian Cage as the big muscle, I don't hate that whatsoever. I think that is like a pretty perfect combo for Ring of Honor. Guys that can wrestle, guys that, with the exception of Brian Cage, are pretty much tied to the Ring of Honor brand, And you've got Tully Blanchard, who is kind of a wrestler's wrestler, tag team aficionado, manager of great wrestlers. I think this presentation really works. I don't know why the Lee Moriarty match is being scheduled for like next week.
Yeah. Why is it on Rampage?
Why are we not just getting Jonathan Gresham against him at Death Before Dishonor? Maybe they think that's not a big enough match to sell the pay-per-view, but I don't know.
Why set it up like this?
Yeah, I would have.
It feels weird.
The timing of everything is really strange, and I think they might just kind of be in a time crunch with this pay-per-view only like a couple weeks away. And I don't know, they'll probably shoot an angle after that with like a bigger star than Lee Moriarty, but I would have been perfectly fine with Gresham and Moriarty just going out and having like a 25-minute excellent match to relaunch Ring of Honor as this new brand. I don't know. I don't know who they would rather have against Jonathan Gresham unless you bring in like Zack Sabre Jr. or something like that. That would be cool, but considering this is right in the middle of like G1 timing, I don't really see what the better option is going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're just going to have to wait and see if they announce something.
I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, because then they'll announce someone and we go, yeah, no, that is actually
it's
better. No,
actually Gresham against Minoru Suzuki.
And then we'll be like, all right, fair enough.
Okay, fine, Tony Khan. I guess you still know how to book.
I guess, and Danielson's return match against Gresham is fine.
Oh, God. Bryan Danielson, ROH World Champion.
Imagine. But yeah, I thought this was really good. We then had Eddie Kingston promo saying that every drop of blood spilt from Jericho is a sin and all that stuff. And he hated the stuff he did against Ruby Soho this week. And it's Eddie Kingston at his best. It's great.
I hated it too.
Yeah.
I hated what they did to Ruby Soho too.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
This is a great promo. I love Eddie Kingston so much. And he told Takeshita to say hi to Jun Akiyama for him. Japanese wrestling. I love it.
I don't know what that means, but yeah, sure.
Jun Akiyama, I believe, runs DDT now. He's like he's one of the big stars of 90s All Japan.
I'll take your word for it. We then had Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb versus Kayla Sparks and Christina Marie in a How Will They Coexist story, except not really, because they weren't supposed to coexist, really. It's just Martinez and Deeb trying to one-up each other constantly, trying to see just who could get the win and who could just be a better wrestler. In the end, it was Serena Deeb who got the Serenity Lock for the win. After the match, she continued to get in the hold. Mercedes Martinez came over and like threw her off to be like, come on, we already won, just stop it. And then she turned on Mercedes Martinez and locked in the Serenity Lock on her. Looking like we're going to have Mercedes versus Serena Deeb at Death Before Dishonor for the Ring of Honor Women's title.
Should be a fantastic match.
Should be great fun.
Again, I don't hate any of the presentation of what they've done with Death Before Dishonor. I do think that the last few months have been kind of, all right, what is happening with Ring of Honor? It'll be like, here's Samoa Joe, maybe. Here's Jay Lethal talking about Samoa Joe. And that'll kind of be it a lot of the time. But now that we're the month of the pay-per-view and we're actually getting some build and matches announced, I'm like, this sounds like a very fun card with a Ring of Honor roster that I'm interested in seeing, and everybody kind of fits their roles well, and I don't think you could have a better women's ROH Women's World Championship match on this pay-per-view than this one. Like, it just fits. Everything feels like it fits. And I wanted Ring of Honor to have a different feel than AEW, and I think it does. I think that's very important.
That's true. I agree. I do think it has a different feel. That's good. We then had a promo from Gresham and Blanchard. Gresham kind of like officially announcing his heel turn and being like, I've been overlooked for months since Ring of Honor's been bought. Now I'm going to put it back on the map, etc. I'm not taking this anymore. I'm aligning with Tully Blanchard, etc. Was a good promo. I think that's probably one of Gresham's underrated skills. I think everyone looks at his in-ring ability, but he's actually a pretty good promo as well.
Yeah.
He's real good. Big fan. Then we had the main event. Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese, with Swerve Strickland also involved for his job somehow.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand this bit, because it was Mark Sterling is representing Tony Nese, who had a thing going with Swerve Strickland. Also, Danhausen was on Orange Cassidy's side with the Best Friends, which was fighting for the Swerve Strickland thing. He had a petition.
The petition against Swerve Strickland. The PASS.
PASS.
They just wanted to make it an acronym, I guess.
Yeah. Surely you could have just called it against Swerve Strickland and called it ass.
Sign the ass.
Sign the ass. Come on, it writes itself. He's a comedy character.
And see, you could do a stupid comedy bit like that for a week.
You could make it at least 3.
Yeah.
But anyway, that weird story bit was strange, but this was a really good match.
Yeah.
Because this, I think you mentioned on your edited review that it was like, surprised that this was the main event over Kingston Takeshita. But then by the end of this, it was like, totally fair.
Yep.
This was great. I think Tony Nese is fantastic. Like, we obviously know that Orange Cassidy is great. We've seen him put on great matches all the time. I think Tony Nese really shined in this match. I think he looked really, really good coming out of it. And I think that a lot of people weren't too into the idea of Tony Nese winning because they don't want to see Orange Cassidy lose, obviously. And they went a bit quiet anytime Tony Nese was like on top or about to win or got a near fall. They were like, we don't want to see him win. But then anytime like Cassidy kicked out and the match continued, they were like, oh, the match is continuing. Okay, this is awesome. And then they like got back into it again.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't like, boo, Tony Nese, boo, we hate you. Yeah. We want to see you get your ass beat. It's like, please don't have Tony Nese beat Orange Cassidy.
Legit. But regardless, I think he looked really good coming out of this match. And I hope that he does start to get a better reaction because I genuinely think he has earned it through a lot of his matches at this point. I think him being, a really solid wrestler. I think he's got such an upside on his in-ring stuff. Some of the things that he can do is absolutely unreal. But yeah, I thought this was really, really great. Went back and forth. He had some of the schmoz coming in with Mark Sterling going to hit him with a clipboard. Danhausen punches him in the penis. That is just such a great spot. It's not a low blow. It's a punch to the penis. Straight jab. Bang. Straight in the penis. It's great. And Orange Cassidy hit the orange punch onto Tony Nese.
A brilliant orange punch.
What a sell.
This was where I was like, all right, Tony Nese, you've earned your paycheck on this match. With with that sell alone, I was like, because I was really sitting there going, I hope he wins with like the beach break or something like that, because I'm watching this match and I'm seeing Michinoku drivers and Orange Cassidy being dumped on his head and like, pile driver-esque moves. And I was like, is this match going to end with a punch? Which is kind of how I felt with the Takeshita match as well. It was like all that and then a spinning back fist. And I was like, I know that's his finish, but like, it's tough sometimes. But this...
I love the back fist.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, it's a minor thing.
Yeah.
But... in this one in particular, I was like, is he going to win this match with a punch? And then I saw that punch. I was like, that's the best punch I've ever seen.
I'll let it slide.
I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
This was a really fun main event. I thought this was one of Orange Cassidy's better TV matches that I've seen of late. And my deal with Tony Nese is complicated because I think over the last year, maybe year and a half or so, we've, of course, really seen the AEW roster kind of be elevated, just the quality of performer, not to discount, many of the others who started with AEW, but I mean, come on, the roster now is objectively more loaded with talent than it was. And that does also kind of mean that maybe you want your lower end of the roster talent to also be better. So now, instead of seeing Peter Avalon get beat in all these matches, nothing against Peter Avalon, but now you're seeing Tony Nese, and the quality of the match is just much better. And I don't hate Tony Nese in this role whatsoever. Because, I don't think Tony Nese necessarily needs to get, a big push at any point, the same way that I don't think, Matt Sydal ever really needs to get a push. But seeing Matt Sydal and Tony Nese as the guys losing and making other guys look better, I'm quite happy with that.
Absolutely. I think, Nese has such an upside like that to where he like you said, he doesn't need to get even a TNT title push or anything like that. He's just a guy that looks really good and wrestles really well, so that when people beat him, you go, oh, it's good. Well done. You put up a fight, but you won.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's great. Overall, good show. Enjoyed
nothing
it.
you really need to go out of your way to see, but nothing you will be upset about having spent your time watching.
Yeah, and I would even argue that you maybe could go out of your way to watch the Kingston Takeshita match.
Probably.
I think it's pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, not like TV match of the year or anything like that, I'd say.
No. And nothing that really like built to, well, I guess all the Ring of Honor stuff built to that, but it depends on how much you care about Ring of Honor.
Exactly. Now, Tempest, it's our favorite time. Time to talk about SmackDown.
Yeah.
This show
sucked.
It was really bad.
This show is ass. This show is 100% concentrated dog ass. And it pisses me off that I have to spend hours of my time every Saturday watching it.
Yeah. It's not good. It started off with a recap of Theory versus Lashley and Theory winning Money in the Bank. Then we saw that it's Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary, and I was like,
so -1 right off the bat.
Then Roman Reigns came out and did his long entrance, and then we had an ad break. Yeah. And I was like, nothing has happened on this show yet, and we've already had an ad break.
Yeah.
Literally nothing has happened yet.
It was like 15 minutes into this show before anything had happened.
It's unreal.
Like, just cancel SmackDown. Fox, I'm begging you. Like, I know that that's not a realistic thing, and I don't want, like, the people who actually work on SmackDown to lose their jobs. You know, like I don't want anybody except like the people who run WWE to lose their jobs. Like there are good people that work there, the video editors, the everybody, the camera people, the lighting, the production crew, everybody. Yeah. They're awesome dudes and dudettes. I don't want any of them to lose their jobs. But hot damn, what is the purpose of this show?
Can we at least just, like, change the day so we'd have to waste our Saturdays?
Yeah! Why did it have to go back to Friday? Stupid Fox. Why couldn't this be Thursday night SmackDown?
Yeah,
or just Tuesday night SmackDown again?
Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Theory came out on the stage while Roman Reigns was doing his entrance. And the commentators were like, is he going to cash in his Money in the Bank? Cut to ad break.
Imagine if he did. The first Money in the Bank cash in to take place during an ad break.
Can you imagine? They then had a promo segment, which, objectively speaking, was a good promo. I would even class it as a great promo.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman is a very good promo. We all know this.
Yes. Speaking
the words, he's very good. If you don't look at it in a vacuum, though, this isn't great. Because this is exactly, and I mean exactly, the same build we had for Reigns versus Lesnar before. In that, Reigns is like, I can beat Lesnar, I'm great. And Heyman says, you should be scared because he's Brock Lesnar and he's really good. The difference is, though, that Reigns has already beaten Lesnar. So why is Paul Heyman like, oh, you should be scared of him, he's really good. It's like, he already beat him clean! And the thing that's different in this story, that Reigns has beaten him already and has both belts, isn't being mentioned or referenced in the story at all. They just copy-paste the story from the last time they did it.
SmackDown is a rerun.
Evergreen tweet.
Brock Lesnar hasn't beaten Roman Reigns in over 4 years. Why is anyone concerned about this? I get it's Brock Lesnar, but like, come on. You need some sort of new emotional significance to give me any reason to care about this stupid feud.
You need a progression in the story, especially because the last match they had was the culmination of their story. So if you're going to have another match, we really need to have a reason for it. And just saying, well, it's going to be the last one. It's like, well, the last one should have been the last one. Why are you doing one more?
No, the one they had like 7 years ago should have been the last one. They should have quit while they were ahead, did it once and have it be good.
You're right.
Yeah.
This took ages, and it was fine.
I want to give a big shout out to our mods who have put in per cage match. This episode of SmackDown had 13 minutes and 40 seconds of wrestling.
Oh!
Only Shinsuke Nakamura and Ludwig Kaiser went over 5 minutes. If you pay to go to SmackDown, you, sir, or ma'am, are a mark. Like, they've stolen your money!
13 minutes.
I can't imagine going to SmackDown.
That's unreal. After this promo, Theory came out and jogged around the ring. Mind games. We got a recap of the new Vicious Viking the new Vicious Viking Raiders.
The what?
The new Vicious Viking Raiders.
Uh-huh.
Then we got a match of the new Vicious Viking Raiders versus Jinder Mahal and Shanky, where the new Vicious Viking Raiders were new and vicious. So I hear.
Mm-hmm. That's what they tell me.
That's seriously, the commentary on this show is unbelievable. The amount of times I said new Vicious Viking Raiders. They beat Jinder Mahal and Shanky. Shanky was too busy dancing, so Jinder Mahal was by himself. They beat Jinder Mahal. Whoop-de-doo.
What's the joke is that he dances?
It's like the fascination they have with people laughing. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Look at them. They laugh. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The New Day then came out.
Mm-hmm.
The New Day then came out. And they did... It was a promo that lasted a good few minutes. Of them being like, hey, look, you guys beat us up the last couple weeks. But it doesn't matter. It wasn't officially sanctioned. We've got ass-beating tickets. And it's like, sure, whatever. It's a fun joke. So we're going to beat your ass. Because you're beating us up, and we're not going to take it anymore. So they storm down to the ring. And they immediately get beaten up. They didn't even get a single move in.
Take it. No, we're not going to take it. We're... Done. See, it's really tough for me watching this in particular. Because... The New Day are losers. They're geek losers that never win, but they're also the greatest stable in the history of wrestling, and WWE will promote them as such when they want to.
Mm-hmm.
When they don't want to, they're two geek losers that can't win. And did they ever get any sort of comeuppance for just fighting the Brawling Brutes for 6 months?
They just
probably 3 months, but felt like
stopped
6.
wrestling them, right?
They just stopped wrestling them. They just were having their matches, going on a treadmill, and then they got off. They got off the carousel and went to a different ride where they will now get beat up by the new Vicious Viking Raiders, one of which is named Eric. Yeah, for all you slapjack. No, I can't. I really can't. There's a guy whose full ring name is Eric.
That's good.
We make superstars.
We make superstars. I was convinced that this was a rib. Like, I felt like it had to
Probably
be.
is.
With the amount that they...
The whole show is a rib.
Like, with the amount that they built up the New Day being like, well, our time is now. We need to take back the ring. We're going to beat your ass. And then they died. It was great. We then had a recap of Happy Corbin attacking Pat McAfee at Money in the Bank. We then got Happy Corbin on commentary, who at some point left. And I didn't know when he left, because they didn't make a thing of, he's going now. At one point, he just wasn't there anymore. But at one point, for this little promo, I thought he was funny for one bit of it.
Yeah, this was the most that Baron Corbin has made me laugh.
He is a naturally charismatic, funny person.
Yeah.
He really is. Like, I've watched him on a few, like, up, down, down stuff.
Right.
And he's a funny guy.
If you watch the old Breaking Ground show they did in like the 2015 era of NXT, he's like a star of that show as just a very compelling, charismatic individual with like an interesting character just being himself. And they keep making him this chuckle master in his stupid hat.
I don't know, man. Like him here, clearly like being able to play around with the material a little bit. When Shinsuke Nakamura did his entrance and he was like, I'm gonna make fun of how excited Pat McAfee gets at his entrance, he was really funny. Like he really overplayed it, and that was the point. It was really funny.
He was talking about how he wouldn't get drafted to like a garbage franchise like the Indianapolis Colts, which is where Pat McAfee played. He had to go to a good team like the Arizona Cardinals, and there were a lot of really funny moments. I just wish we could see them more often.
Yeah, can we not just have that sort of Corbin more often?
Yeah.
Anyway.
What match was this for?
Well,
this was for the Shinsuke Nakamura Walter thing.
Yeah. So Walter came out and said that he's not going to do an open challenge because if you start facing opponents and you don't know who they are before a match, you're an idiot. And I'm like, I mean, he's kind of right, but that's not the point. And then Shinsuke Nakamura came out and said, all right, you're not going to do an open challenge. That's fine. I will earn my title match by facing Ludwig Kaiser instead. Which is fine. I think that's a decent premise.
I'm with you so far.
I'm with it. Nakamura then faced Kaiser. I've written in my notes, I looked away and Shinsuke won. So from the fact that this match went 5 minutes, tells you all you need to know really.
The highlight of the show, apparently.
Yeah, the longest wrestling match, this one. Nakamura got the win with a Kinshasa after a few minutes. Cool. Looks like we're going to go into a Nakamura-Walter feud, which sounds good on paper.
I wish I could be excited about it.
I know, right?
You know?
I want to be excited for that, but I'm not really. One thing I did like, though, was after the match, Walter was upset with Kaiser, being like, you're making me look bad by association. Like, I don't think he actually said those words, but that was the vibe that you got from it, because he was all talking off mic. And he was essentially, shouting at Kaiser and just being like, get up, you can't make me look bad like this. And then, chop to Kaiser. And Kaiser was like, oh, that really hurt. I didn't like that. And he was like, no, get up. And then he made him stand with his hand so he couldn't even protect himself from it. And then just hitting away at him. And I thought at first that they were going to do a split angle between them. But I'm really glad that this is just an angle of Walter's character.
This is much better than
this is much better. Where he just kind of beats him up a bit. He's like, don't lose. Yeah. Idiot. Otherwise you get chopped.
You will be punished if you lose. What's this? Actions having consequences.
Wins and losses matter.
It's like the one time they do it, they just we'll just have him chop him afterwards. And it's immediately it makes it a real thing.
Right? Immediately it makes it so much better. So much better. Just with that. Having consequences for winning or losing is... It's not hard to do that, We got a recap of Liv Morgan winning Money in the Bank and then cashing it in. Got Liv Morgan coming out cutting a promo. Here's a question, because I didn't watch the Money in the Bank. Obviously, you did live reactions for it. Why was Ronda okay with losing? Why did she hug Liv Morgan afterwards? Liv came out and took advantage of an injured Ronda Rousey. Surely she'd be pissed that Liv Morgan was, taking advantage of her injury. I
ain't got an answer for you there, bud.
All right. Liv Morgan came out and did a promo with Michael Cole being like, I'm so happy that I'm the champion. Because I'm Liv Morgan, and I'm always happy. This means so much to me, I'm really happy.
Honestly,
it's fine.
Don't hate it.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan is another very likable individual, and seeing her be a very happy, positive champion, I'm like, I'll roll with this.
Yeah, it was fine.
I believe her when she speaks about wanting to be the women's champion.
Yeah.
I don't believe a single thing that Ronda Rousey ever says.
Not even a little bit. Do you know who else I don't believe?
Who's that, Pete?
It's Natalya, because Liv Morgan was saying, I've been dreaming about being the champion since I was a little girl. This is all I've ever wanted. Natalya then came out and had probably the most savage line that I've ever heard on WWE programming, right? Brace yourself for this one. Natalya came out, right? And she said, I can dream too of when you will shut up.
Sick burn, Natty.
Jesus! Calm down, Natty! She has feelings, man! This line sucked.
Okay. Here's my deal with Natalya. And this podcast is just, here's my deal with this person. My deal with Natalya is, I don't think Natalya is a bad wrestler.
No.
She has good matches from time to time. She had that Charlotte match in NXT everyone likes to talk about. It was really good. I don't think there are less convincing wrestlers anywhere ever than Natalya. No part of her performance ever makes me believe whatever she's doing. If she's got someone in a hold, I don't believe that she's trying to hurt them, because she's doing weird faces the whole time. All her promos are awful. None of them are believable. It's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Natalya, but she doesn't make me believe she's human.
So
when she goes up on the turnbuckles and she says, yay, instead of yeah, that's where I realized that this is not a human.
No.
And I've not been able to look at her the same way since. And I've noticed more and more stuff.
So I don't sports all that much, but I've just seen a reference in the chat that I loved, which you might not get because it's about football, you know, our one, not your one. Football. That said that Natalya is the James Milner of WWE, which is just so good.
You're right,
he is possibly the least charismatic person on the planet. It's like there was even a parody account of James Milner. It might not. Was it a parody? Or was it his actual Twitter? I can't remember. Oh, it's gotten too. It's too meta at this point. Where it was literally him, like, you know, went out to get bread.
Yeah.
All right. It's like that level of charisma, you know.
Right.
Oh God, that's a well done person in the chat that said that. They did. Ronda came out. Natalya did. They did promos. They did a little brawl after the ad break. It was Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. So this match that we got at Money in the Bank, we had a rematch here. Except this time, new dynamic on the match. There's even a reason for this rematch. Ronda not dressed to compete. Ronda's got a knee injury. You know, that changes the dynamic drastically from their Money in the Bank match, which might actually lend some intrigue to this match because Ronda won at Money in the Bank fairly handily. But there's a new dynamic on this one, so maybe Natalya can, you know, take advantage of that knee injury. Maybe she could get more offense in this match, but even get the win. That'd be crazy. Tempest, what happened in this match?
Ronda Rousey squashed her. How backwards can you make this product? You take the regular match where Ronda goes in 100%, and if they try and say, oh, she's got a back injury because of the sharpshooter, piss off. She goes in 100% of the pay-per-view, takes like 10 minutes to beat Natty, can't do it, finally gets through it by the skin of her teeth, and now she's hurt. She goes in and just smokes her ass.
I don't think Natalya got in a single move in this match.
I can't comprehend someone looking at this and thinking it's okay.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this getting past editors and all that. It's just appalling.
Yeah, and to me, this is literally just like, okay, well, Natalya was built up for that one match with Ronda. Back down the card you go. See you later.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
It's the same thing how, like, I think I said it on a show with Lori when he and I were reviewing SmackDown last month, where they did the Beat the Clock challenge before the match with Ronda and Charlotte at whatever pay-per-view that was. And they had Ronda beat Shotzi in like 1:40.
Yeah.
And, all right, it's Ronda Rousey. She probably should be beating people in 1:40. But then a month later, Shotzi comes out and just is beating up Ronda in a match. And it's a back and forth match that goes like, 6-7 minutes. Why? No difference. It's just you're not supposed to remember that.
Yeah.
You're not supposed
Doesn't
to remember
matter.
that the pay-per-view match was Natalya getting the upper hand and holding it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine watching this show.
No. Drew McIntyre did a promo.
Yeah.
Max Dupree had the tennis collection for the Maximum Male models. I've seen a lot of people really, really like this. I'm not one of those people. I didn't hate it. Like, it's still kind of the same thing as last week of, like, Marseille and Mansoir come out and they were wearing vaguely tennis-related things.
They had tennis racket, or one of them had a tennis racket at least.
Both of them had tennis rackets.
Both of them had tennis rackets.
Like, really old-school tennis rackets.
Yeah.
Not current ones.
Ones you'd never use today. These are made of wood, not fiberglass.
From, like, the 50s.
Yeah. Carbon fiber.
Yeah. And they just kind of posed for a bit, and, you know, Max Dupree did his thing. I mean, like, look at this person.
See? Here's the problem. It's the same joke as last week. Their names are Marseille and Mansoir, and they come out and they pose, and he's going to say titillate, hee. Except this time, it's like they've got a list of vaguely sexual-sounding words for him to say. They're oozing. Forget what it is. They're oozing. Yeah, they like, he forgot what the words were. Because they can't just let LA Knight cut promos. You gotta have him reading off of cards, saying dialogue no one would ever say. Because he said, like, oozing. He said penetrating,
Mm-hmm.
you know, said titillate the juices of your guilty pleasure, whatever the hell. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. It was funny the one time. But it's like every joke in WWE. They only have like one joke, and they run it into the ground over and over again. This is why we said last week that we would have liked, like, it's fine as an introduction. Now next week, come out in your tennis gear, make that your entrance, go to the ring, wrestle in it.
Yep.
I don't care about these guys doing a fashion show.
No.
Make them wrestlers. If you just want to do fashion, open a fashion department.
Yep.
Christ. And granted, second week. Still not totally losing my mind on this. I will give them like another 1 or 2 weeks before I'm like, all right, scrap it. Do something, please.
Yeah.
Because I need there to be a point.
Yeah, there's not really leading to anything.
No.
I also love the commentary saying, well, an overwhelming response from the crowd here at Fort Worth, while there was silence.
Overwhelming apathy.
Yeah, that's what it is. We then got a recap of Theory running around the ring. Why do you need to recap that? Theory then did a promo, and Madcap Moss was also there.
No, what did he say, Pete?
Honestly, I don't know.
He said he's got a big mouth. Pause. I bet I could fit that briefcase in there. Pause. I'm gonna try. Cut! What?
I did not know that's what he said!
What? Bro. Genuine, like the comedy
God.
writers that are on the WWE staff. If I was a writer in Hollywood, if I was an executive, if I saw WWE on your CV, you're not getting the friggin' job. Christ almighty. Which one person wrote this line? I need to know.
Oh, God.
Woo!
It's got a big mouth. Bet I can fit that briefcase in there.
Yeah.
I'll try. We then were supposed to have Aaliyah and Lacey Evans versus Shayna Baszler and Shotzi. Except that match didn't happen because Lacey Evans was too busy turning heel. Because Aaliyah came out, fine. Lacey Evans came out and she wasn't getting enough cheers. So she went back and came out again and she wasn't getting enough cheers. So she came out, went back and came out again. And then she got a promo and she's like, what the hell? Why aren't you cheering me more? I poured out my heart on TV. You guys know what I've been through. You should cheer me more. And then she said, I'm disgusted with all of you. By the way, this promo took about 5 minutes. I am paraphrasing massively. This promo went round in circles about 5 times.
Yeah, she redid her entrance 3 times. I was like, oh, it's one of these shows.
Oh, yeah.
One of these episodes of SmackDown.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 13 minutes and 40 seconds of wrestling episodes of SmackDown.
You know, I'm stunned they didn't play the full SmackDown intro for this one.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what it felt like. It was one of these shows. She did a long promo to essentially say nothing. She did a women's right to Aaliyah, and then she left. There wasn't a match for no reason.
I will try and be positive and say that the character of Lacey Evans being upset that her tragic backstory is not cared about could have more legs than her as a babyface. Could.
Yeah, could.
It also feels like this whole thing has been a goddamn waste of time.
Yes.
Which is everything on this show.
Yes.
And it bothers me to be like, wow, those were 3 great weeks of babyface promos. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with Lacey Evans because this is the most I've ever cared about Lacey Evans. And the first thing they do is turn a heel. Like, they're incapable of booking a babyface.
Yeah.
They're incapable. They do not know how. I do not understand if this is the same company that once pushed Steve Austin, but like, yeah, it's just a waste of time, and it's really depressing because you know what? I do not enjoy Lacey Evans' work, and at least if she was getting cheered, that'd be something. At least she had like a cool backstory and really positive character, and she's doing a lot of things. That'd be one thing, but I gotta see Lacey Evans just put people in rest holds now. And I'm not down with that.
No.
We'll see. Maybe she's trained a lot in the last year while she was off, and I doubt it considering she was pregnant. But maybe she trained a lot Yeah, she trained a lot during the time when she was doing her comeback, and she's really great now. She's gonna have great matches. There's a possibility that it happens. I doubt it personally.
Got the Usos versus Los Lotharios in a championship contenders match.
I love when commentary is like, Los Lotharios win this match. Maybe they'll be in line for a championship match. Because you know what? You don't have to win one of these. You can, doesn't matter. Remember Shotzi and Tegan? Or pardon me, Shotzi and Nox? Christ.
Forgot that was a name.
Yeah.
Good God. Also, I'd like to point out, on a positive note, this match started during an ad break. We didn't get an entrance for Los Lotharios.
It's true.
The Usos came out, it cut to an ad break, and when we came back, the match was already underway.
Because there was too much wrestling on this show.
Whoa! Like, I just want to make sure they're okay, because they didn't do, ad break, come back, the Usos are still in the ring, then we do like a backstage promo, then we come back, and then the Los Lotharios come out, then there's like another ad break, and then the match starts. Like, honestly, this is a vast improvement. This actually makes it feel like a genuine show.
Yeah. It's better.
It's not great.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not bad.
It's a fine.
It's fine. The Usos won.
And then we got the worst journalist in the entire world. Once again being the worst journalist in the whole world. The stupidest WWE character I think I may have ever seen.
That's a bold claim.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if anyone's worse at their job on screen than Kayla Braxton.
Yeah, nothing against her as a person.
Not a fan.
Eh.
I've seen her Twitter.
Sure. I haven't. But her character is not good.
No. Oof, real bad.
She spoke to the Usos being like, hey, you guys suck. That's normally what she says.
More or less. Well, she came out and she shows the clip of the shoulder being up at Money in the Bank. And she's like, so, as I was saying, you guys basically got away with cheating. And they're like, no, we didn't. Like, I mean, sure, if you call that cheating, then yeah, we cheated. But that's not on us. That's on the referee. Which is the truth!
It's actually 100% true.
Why are the heels always the one telling the truth on this show?
Yeah.
God damn. It's real bad. It's
yeah.
real bad. They probably said we to ones or something. And that was it.
They did. It also announced that there's going to be a special guest referee in their tag title match at SummerSlam with the rematch against the Profits. I don't know who that's going to be. I'm curious.
Maybe Solo Sikoa.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm down for that.
Could be cool.
Yeah. More introduction of interesting characters. I would like that.
We then had the main event, which was promoted through the whole show, from before the show and all through it. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Whoever wins this match will face the undisputed Universal Champion, who might be Roman Reigns, or could be anyone, Roman Reigns, at Clash at the Castle. Okay, there's some stakes on this match. It's obvious that Drew's going to win, but there's some stakes on this match. Drew McIntyre comes out. Sheamus comes out. Sheamus then fakes a coughing fit in the ring and says, I've got COVID. I need to get tested.
It's not like 6 million people died from this thing or anything.
No.
They'd just be like, oh, wrestling angle. Can't wrestle this week. COVID. I hate this company. I hate it. Hate is a very strong word. It's so strong that they don't let you say it on WWE programming, in fact.
Yeah.
But I hate this company.
Woo!
Yeah, who
This
cares?
wasn't good.
It's so stupid. Like, I don't want to get in the... We don't have time to get in the whole kit and caboodle of the whole, the false advertising debate again.
Mm-hmm.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Yeah.
If anybody, the one person on Fightful Select really wanted to see this match, they got screwed.
Yeah.
Everyone in the building got screwed.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watching on TV got screwed.
Yep.
For what? They're going to do this match next week?
What do you mean? What do you mean for what? We got Drew McIntyre versus Butch. That lasted, a minute. Drew McIntyre won.
And again, you could just do Pete Dunne and Drew McIntyre. And you know what? I would love it.
Pete Dunne versus Drew McIntyre at Clash at the
At
Castle?
Clash of the Castle!
Oh, what match?
You could do such a good... It's the same way that I can't care when Walter faces Ricochet or when Drew faces Sami Zayn or anything. Because they don't want to do good matches. They don't want to give people what they want. I don't know what they want to give you. They want to give you an ass beating. Like, they want
Like the New Day, right?
Yeah, for God's sake. Like, it would be one thing if they, instead of doing Sheamus, they had this and Sheamus, like, left and then said, haha, you gotta wrestle this guy, and they had a great match and Drew won. This was just their main event. They thought this was an adequate main event segment. And you know what? They are dead wrong.
Yeah, because it was Drew McIntyre versus Butch. He won in about a minute. Ridge Holland then tried to attack him afterwards, who he laid out with a Future Shock DDT. And then Sheamus tried to get in the ring, and Drew McIntyre got his sword. And then Sheamus was on the apron being like, what? And then Drew McIntyre had his sword, like, right in front of him. And then we just had a kind of standoff for a little bit. And then Drew McIntyre kind of just very slowly raised the swords, and Sheamus was just standing there for a little bit. And then as he swung the sword down, Sheamus stepped off, so he sliced the top rope. And then as he sliced the top rope, the pyro went off as he sliced the top rope.
You see,
because that's how pyro works.
The top rope is actually a tripwire. I don't know if you know that. If you break the top rope, there is an explosion every time. Listen, I've said
We've
this.
seen this spot before, right? Of him slicing the top rope?
He's done this before. He did this when he wasn't allowed in the Battle Royal or something.
That sounds about right.
You know, it was last year. Never got a follow-up to that, by the way. And I said this from the beginning. This man is not going to stab someone. I need the sword to get out of the picture. Break the sword and have some heal, get some heat. But he's been carrying around a sword for like a year and a half. He's the worst swordsman ever. He has a 0% success ratio with this stupid sword.
He also apparently did it at WrestleMania.
Cut the top rope at WrestleMania?
Apparently.
Interesting.
Who was he facing?
Baron Corbin?
Madcap Moss? Happy
Baron.
Corbin?
Yeah. See, I had the same conversation like a week ago where I was like, what has Drew McIntyre done this year?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is feud with Baron Corbin. So, yeah. Don't watch SmackDown, everyone.
Oh.
Erase your DVRs.
Yeah, he's, the people are saying that he did it at this year's Mania. A lot of people saying it.
Well, shows how much I remember these things.
Wild. So their main event was Drew McIntyre versus Butch, which lasted a minute, and then the big go-home thing, the thing that they're going to make the crowd happy, is him slicing a top rope and the pyro going off.
Yeah.
That is, I would argue, hilariously bad.
Yeah.
That is not a good way to end the show, nor is it a good show.
No.
That was a bad show. That's what I call it, a bad show.
Yeah.
Not good. 1? 1.5?
Minus 5 stars.
Sure.
Show sucks.
It's really bad.
This show ruins my day.
It's not good.
It really ruins my day, though. Like, it really does. I watch it.
See the moderators. The moderators, based off the comments of Tempest, have made this.
Thank you, mods. We don't deserve you.
Yeah.
We truly don't. 100% concentrated dog ass. Whew. Yeah.
I love it.
That's
Thanks,
about
mods.
right. Thanks, mods. We don't deserve you.
Who was it that made that one? That was Andy. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
Wonderful stuff.
Anyway, we should say thank you to some very special people. Those are our $25 and above pledge hammers over on our Patreon page. If you've not been to our Patreon page yet, you should. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Loads of extra bonus content. Right now, there's a poll going on for WrestleTalk Extra for this month for the show that... It's you, isn't it?
Me and Luke.
It's you and Luke.
Yeah, Luke and I are doing WrestleTalk Extra.
Ollie is busy for this month, so it's going to be Tempest and Luke reviewing a show. I believe currently in the lead is Bash at the Beach 96.
Mm-hmm.
In second place currently is Battleground 2016. So it's kind of like a 2-horse race between those two shows right now. So if you want to get your vote in, go to Patreon, join up.
I'm not going to hate either of those options.
I think they're both going to be interesting for
I-
very different reasons.
Very different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting stuff on that Battleground show as well.
Yeah, there's like the best WWE Sami Zayn Kevin Owens matches on that show.
Yeah, exactly. Because my thinking was, it was like, that's the thing immediately, like right after the brand split,
Right.
it's the Shield triple threat, and that's all I could remember about it. And I was like, that's Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens on it. It's really good.
There's a lot on that show that's worth watching.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like a Bailey surprise call up on that show.
Yeah, of
Before
course.
her actual call up after SummerSlam, she has a surprise match on that show.
Yeah, which she teams up with Banks, right?
Yeah, her and Sasha and I think Charlotte and Dana Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really fun show that. So either way, vote for what you want to see the most. And we will review it.
Yes. And if you pledge at the $25 or above tier, you get your own custom wrestling nickname, and it gets read out on a show, much like this one. So thank you to the true Alpha Wolf. Yeah. Go. Sorry, I was saying things because I put on the Hall of Fame music.
Not Eugene, Andrew Dinsmore.
Yeah. Andy Datson's fetish, Timothy King.
Yeah. Ari and Shafira, the Boozerweights.
Yeah. The Austin Nangano escape.
Yeah. The Schrock Master, Austin Schrock.
Yeah. The Cyclone, Brandon Sayers.
Yeah, why do you still pay for these? Shawn Michaels' biggest fan, Brett Guy.
Yeah. Brian, Null, and Boyd.
Yeah. Chris Hellfire Brimstone.
Yeah. Infinite Crisis, Chris Jenkins.
Yeah. And All-Star, Chuck Turner.
Yeah. Thank you so much, all of our Patreon backers. We really do appreciate all of the support. Last chance to get in your Ultra Chats at WrestleTalk.com/support. We're going to go through all the ones that are $5 US and up by the time the show goes off the air. I need to turn off the Hall of Fame music. I remembered this time. Nolan Eubank said, "Hi fellas, just wanted to say I popped so hard when I saw that Tempest is in the UK. Now LIW is absolutely for life. Takeshita is so damn fun to watch. I've only seen his work in AEW and Deadlock Pro, but I enjoy it every time, especially against Eddie. Jam that jam.
He's a treasure.
He is amazing." Spencer Trainer said, "Hey boys, happy Saturday. Hope you're better today, Pete. Joined the stream late, so I'm watching on catch up. I love Takeshita, but what is his finisher exactly? I haven't seen him on Dark Elevation." I mean, he does like the other bits. I believe that's a note from the moderators, just saying that he uses Brainbuster and Blue Thunderbomb as setups. Finished all of his Dark Wins with the Rising Knee Strike. Yeah, he attempted that Rising Knee Strike a few times against Eddie, so I believe that would be his finisher, per se. But
whether it has been given a name yet, I do not know. But
the knee! You know, like Daniel Bryan's one. Yeah.
The knee plus.
Yeah. The knee that he used to beat John Cena at SummerSlam. That's what they did for ages, right?
Oh, God. I hope I get to review that match at one point, because there's a really stupid moment in that match that I hate.
The Cena-Bryan one?
Yeah.
What happens?
There's a moment where Bryan has Cena in an STF, and they start doing the, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" chants. And you know how every once in a while they'll do like a test of strength where they'll do that chant and they'll kind of like, it'll go back and forth depending on the chant? This man, John Cena, was sticking his head in and out of the STF with the chants like a gopher. It's the dumbest thing. Like, he's literally got it like a face lock on, and he's like, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks. Let's go see." It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I love that match.
That's stupid. I love it. Charles Berg says, "As boring as SmackDown was, hearing Wood say that last week they did not have a good Viking experience was very funny. That was last week's show. Rampage was fine, hell of an opener, followed by nothing noteworthy. Statlander was also funny. Jade Cargill, that bitch."
Have you seen the photos that she's posted on Twitter?
Which ones?
She posted just a photo shoot, basically. Her leg muscles are astounding. Like, she is the perfect specimen. If you wanted to chisel like a wrestler out of stone, it would look like Jade Cargill. Oh, yeah. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. Riot DR said, "Hey yo, in regards to Roman versus Lesnar, I can't care anymore. We've seen everything. Just replace 1, 2, I can't believe he kicked out, with 8, 9, I can't believe he's on his feet. On the AEW side, loving Takeshita, Eddie for champ, LIW for life." Thank you.
I agree with all of those things.
I agree too. Hector Rodriguez said, why is Natty getting involved here? She lost. She should get back in line. Ronda has the automatic rematch. They don't exist anymore. They told us. They told us they don't exist anymore. Don't you bring that here. Ronda's your automatic rematch because she was the previous champion. Also, Takeshita is the next international star for AEW. Maybe in the future, Speedball versus Takeshita for the X Division title.
That is the best idea I've ever heard.
That's good.
That's a 5-star match waiting to happen right there.
Yeah. Legit Underboss said, Lord Tempest, to better help you with the James Milner reference, Natalya is the Jonathan Towers of wrestling.
First of all, that is so not true. First of all, misspelled. It is pronounced Taves.
Taves?
I'm not going to blame you for that one because Toews probably shouldn't be pronounced Taves.
Yeah, all right.
But it is. I mean, I'm not going to speak on what the state of the Chicago Blackhawks organization is currently, but I mean, Jonathan Taves is like on the list of the 100 best NHL players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Natalya is not. Mostly because she's not a hockey player, but she's also not on the list of the best wrestlers either.
I will also say that James Milner is a very good footballer, but just has no charisma. So it's not the comparison of skill, I think it's the comparison of charisma levels.
In that case, Natalya is all hockey players. All of them except for Ovechkin and PK Subban. In that case, I will take it back, legit Underboss. That makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for the old chats. Last thing before we go, I did just want to say, in about 45 minutes time, there's going to be a video going up on the main WrestleTalk channel that I did, and I quite like it, and I think you might. So make sure to check it out in 45 minutes time on the main WrestleTalk channel. It's called Roman Reigns Isn't Working. Because it's me essentially doing a deep dive onto Roman Reigns' Tribal Chief character and how it started off amazing and then became not amazing and how that happened and why that happened and what's going on and why doesn't it work properly anymore. I think it's a very fun video and I hope you guys like it. So please go check that out afterwards as well. Also, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe because we do even more reviews and stuff. We're going to be back next week, obviously, for more content. Have SummerSlam soon. Going to be doing live reactions and all that jazz as well. My God, wrestling never stops. I've been Chopper Pete Cornell, been joined by Tempest. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in some more content soon. Goodbye, LIW for life. Yeah.